Good morning, everyone. Welcome back here to week 14 of the Northside Square project. My name is Quincy Jones, Director of Programs at The Works, Inc., joined here by our trusty and handy site supervisor, Jason Irby with Grinder Taper Grinder. And so this week, week 14, we're moving on with the demolition of the site. We're standing outside of the former Northside High School gymnasium, which once had a capacity of 1,800 students or 1,800 people inside the facility. So now, today, Jason's going to tell us a little bit about what's taking place with the interior demolition of the gymnasium and what's next. Jason?
Yeah, well, as of this week, we've got all of the bleachers removed, the goalpost, and about 90% of the gymnasium ceiling. We're finishing up the mechanical and electrical demolition this week, probably about 4 to 5 more days next week, and we'll have the gymnasium ready to button up. And then we're down to just surgical demolition and a few mechanical issues in the basement.
And so, Jason, you were sharing with me earlier that with the removal of the bleachers, and it's hard to see because it's so dark inside the gymnasium now, but with the removal of the bleachers, the gymnasium looks a lot larger than it actually was. So anyone who has ever been inside Northside High School, you knew that it had one of the largest gymnasiums of all the schools here in Memphis, Tennessee. And so now it looks a lot more spacious, but as I understand it, Jason, those bleachers are going to be donated to the local institution, and we still have them here on site.
Correct. Our demolition contractor, Precise Concrete and Construction, has facilitated a donation or handoff of the bleachers and the existing goal systems and scoreboards to either a local church or startup school of some sort. He's working those out, but instead of being recycled, they will be donated for reuse in the public somewhere here in the Mid-South.
It's great news to hear that we're inputting those bleachers back into use somewhere here in Memphis in the Mid-South. The other thing that's really great about this development is that I've talked about we're keeping a lot of the nostalgia, a lot of the history. So the hallway that we're actually standing in is near where the Hall of Fame is going to be. So we'll keep a lot of the artifacts, some of those banners from the championship teams here, the men and women's basketball teams here at the former Northside High School. So we're reusing a lot of the elements that were once here inside this great high school, but also this gym is going to be refurbished and it will be reactivated to operate as a gym to support this community. We'll have a user, a manager who operates it. And so this gym is coming back to life. And so we think that's great news for the Klondike community and certainly great news for the redevelopment of Northside Square. Jason, finally tell us what's our timeline for finishing all of the demolition in this building and moving on to the next phase of shell and core construction.
So we're about 2 to 3 weeks out to be completely through with what we call bulk demolition. There's still quite a bit of surgical demolition that we call that will take place during the shell and core construction. That'll be opening up the exterior windows, things of that nature, elevator pits, skylights. What we don't want to do is open them up for weather and or potential hazards until we have the material ready to go back in place at those specific locations, and those will all take place during the shell and core construction. But for the bulk demo, cleanup, and the start of layout, we're about 2 to 3 weeks from completion.
2 to 3 weeks out, completing our bulk demo. Great news here at Northside Square. Stay tuned in. More updates as you hear the noise in the background. The work continues. Thanks for being here on Northside Square YouTube.